All right, hello everybody. I'm about to try starting on page 5, which I have roughed out. Oh wait, let me turn the light off here. There we go. Um, Roughing out for me had a lot to do with putting the text down and then making sure the drawings are about the right size. I'm looking at this panel right here, and it's a shot of Illuminara from behind as she's at the controls. However, the ship is going this way, so maybe I should actually take this panel and flip it, which would be like that. I think that works like that. Yeah, a lot of times when you flip something, it exposes all your problems, but I wonder if I have the same issue here. Because now we've moved the camera around, we've swung it around, but we don't know which way. I'm assuming forward is this way. I think it's probably okay. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like if we flip this one too. One of these panels, and probably the bottom one, is a pretty good candidate for making borderless. What if we do it that way? Her eye is messed up when I do it that way. And her chin is a bit messed up. And once again, I'm finding myself in that situation where it's like, if you haven't done extensive drawing, you find yourself perfecting and simplifying the way you want to draw the character, but you don't get to that point until you're like on page 5. So I'm liking the look I've come up with for it, but it looks a bit different than it did on page 1 and even page 2. This is her hand. Her arm is up. There we go. And her hair. Her hair is probably the hardest thing to draw, because she has no, she's an alien. She has no nose. And then she has these 2 scorpion tail looking things in her hair. And I've got to figure out where to, where to put the shape of the hair. So it's like back here, we got it kind of folded back. And I think it's like right there. And I don't think they have to be on, like if we have a close-up, we don't have to show the scorpion tails. They're down, they're like ponytails almost, so you don't see them. And she's very surprised. It's important that she looks surprised or perplexed. This is the warp scene as the ship warps into space to the randomized coordinate that will put her in orbit around Brutalore. And I think I want to immediately land her, but then have her in danger, and that's how we bring Scimitar out, like really quickly. She'll complain to the ship has a personality too. It's a computer inside the ship, but it's going to get abandoned pretty quickly because it's a one-way escape pod. You can't get back in the ship and leave. It doesn't take off. But she tries to override the jump by engaging Royal Protocol Override. But all it does is it makes the ship start calling her Your Highness. So it has the exact same instructions. And then when she's going to do it again, here's my idea. This is the comedic bit I'm going for. It lands on the savage, jungle planet of Brutalore, which is going to misidentify as Talor. Talor 4, right? Um, it's a resort planet. And then it's going to like update its information and it goes, oh, sorry, our bad. There has been a war here. It is no longer a safe planet. And then she's going to complain and it's going to pop out the valet, which becomes Centaur. And I have two ideas here. I could just use Centaur and just introduce the character at that point. I thought what might be fun is to have her try and pull rank again, and then say, okay, well, because you're a royal, you're authorized this chip, and like a little sliding panel will open up, and she can install this chip, which will upgrade Centaur. But I think I don't know if that's is it worthwhile? It's like an extra page of just to do one gag, but it is to me it's kind of a fun gag. I don't know. It says a lot about the tone of the comic and the story. All right. Well, anyways, so this is page 5. Page 4 has not yet posted to Instagram, but it will. I caught on Cartoonist Kayfabe. Did anyone catch that this morning? Where Ed's been working on a comic strip, and he's getting like a lot out of it. And what he wants to do is he wants to post it to, surprise, surprise, Instagram. Pretty cool. I'm already doing something like that, and what's kept me from calling mine a comic strip is because it doesn't have the strip. I want it to be lengthwise. 4 panels. And also I need to really like I was really appreciating his world building there. But when he showed the samples of it, or kind of hinted at the samples, it's 4 panels stacked. And the reason for that, he says, is because on Instagram, you have limited choices. Well, yeah, I know. I don't. That's why I did mine this way. But he still calls his a comic strip, even though it's not technically a strip. It's a quad, right? It's 4 things, but it's still a strip, right? It's 4 panels, a daily. Mine is not exactly a daily, but every single page goes to Instagram, and not only that, if you look at my pages, they're designed like comic strips. There's a beginning of a story and an end of a story on every page. Like it's a little, I call them fractal stories. So for example, in this story, the situation is she's in the ship and she's trying to keep it from jumping because she doesn't really understand what's going on. And she's arguing with the computer, and then she loses the argument anyways. So, there's always, that's a story with a beginning and an end right there. Or a micro or a fractal story. So, and it will lead us right into the next bit. And he was also talking about, what do we call them? Minute movies, or, there used to be this thing called a topper, which would, in the title of your comic strip, there would be your logo. You could actually run a tiny little mini comic strip inside the other comic strip. So, for example, Popeye wasn't always called Popeye. It was originally called I think olive oil and castor oil. Olive and castor, I think, is what it was called. But then there was literally a little mini comic of there, and a topper, and it was called Minute Movies, I think is what it was called. And then, eventually Popeye became the comic. Um, so it gives me ideas for a future project. Um, one of which would be to have a standardized header on every page. And this would entail moving away from print, which I've enjoyed doing print, but looks like I got all my panels done. All right, let's try and get this page right here. This is a space scene. There's my ship. It's a very rough outline of a ship. The only previous time we've seen the ship is right here. Whoops. I think we got it about right. It's at a slightly different angle. The angle is pushed slightly over that way. And let's make sure we're on the... I'm going to do a little bit more penciling on it. Let's say these little engine ports are over here. Oh, another interesting thing I saw today was Jake Parker. Jake Parker, who I quote a lot and I listen to a lot, was talking about his breakthrough moment with comics and with inking is the realization that some of the art should be in the inking and not, you shouldn't have to, you shouldn't treat the art as all pencils and then say the inking is just this layer that goes on top that burnishes everything or, just makes everything more visible. Some of the art should be in the inking. I would say that Jake Parker's a little late to the party. I believe that forever. That's why I don't go very hard on the pencils. I think a lot of the art should take place in the ink. But it was cool to hear somebody else notice this, because I noticed it too. All right. It's got 3 sections, this sort of front grill area. There we go. Unlike the other ships we saw earlier, it doesn't have like the ornithopter wings or anything. But it says Voom right here when it takes off, but it's going to have Viz right here, because it's a bug ship. Luminar's complaining, this is ridiculous, I'm going to turn this pot around. Maybe it says jump engines charging. Please ensure your safety harness is secure. I wonder if I should put something like permission denied. Coordinates have already been locked in. Or something like that. Computer, cancel the jump. How about it is a line that could fit. I could fit that. Add text. Here it is. Not permission. Permission denied with exclamation point. He's saying it cheerfully. Been locked in. Also, a realization I had when I was trying to correct everything is I've been putting 14-point text. With this font, I think that's incorrect. I think I should be using 12-point text. And the reason is I can barely fit anything in these panels, or seems like. And then, and this is a 3-layer. I call this the layer cake layout. There's just not enough room. So now there is. Permission denied. Coordinates have been locked in. Jump engines charging. Please ensure. All right, so this should go down here, and then this should be slightly lower. All right, that looks like it all works. Computer, cancel the jump. The jump cannot be canceled. Jumping in 30 seconds. Still a Royal Princess of Apshai. Royal Protocol override. Royal Protocol engage. Regretfully, this is a one-way jump pod. Jump engines cannot be safely de-energized at this time. Therefore, we strongly advise you to buckle your safety harness, Your Highness. This can't be happening. Engaging jump engine. Please brace for escape warp in 3, 2, 1, warp. There we go. So I think that's a very pleasing flow of events to me that works out really well. So now we just have to do the art. You thought it started with the art. Well, not quite. All right, let's call this one ink, or IK. Let's call this one pencil. All right. We're getting somewhere. I'm 15 minutes in. All right, I'm going to leave this up just in case I need it, but I don't think I will need it. And as we've discussed, rusty nib for everything. Okay, let's get into the ink. It has like these, they almost look like lights or ports or something. And there's 3 in the front, and then these 3 kind of squarish ones in the back. And I don't know if they're related or what. I mean, when I designed the ship, I just sort of start adding things that I think are going to be cool. All right, how about this? That's looking good. Been doing a lot of like color lately. I've been doing a colored pencil, and I want to try some. How do you pronounce this word? Bokeh dots. They're the dot that from a bright light in the distance makes a sort of um, fuzzy, distorted circle, and it's used in photography a lot. But I thought it might be fun to do that, like just a whole scene, and draw very simple scenes with my colored pencils. But a whole scene, just a bokeh dots, like a pattern. I think that would be cool. Okay, now I'm looking at the back of the ship. This part is not there. It's got this engine. This engine is much lower, or this pod, whatever it is. So we're going to leave it down here. And then this one's here. This is definitely an engine. And then how do we boost up the front? Well, we've got this kind of like plate up at the front. And then there's this pod right here. This is something, right? I don't know. It's another piece of the ship. Maybe this is part of the jump engine apparatus or some kind of atmospheric maneuvering device. Because they still have to land the ship. The ship is going to be self-landing on the planet that they end up at. The former resort planet of Talor, which is now called Brutalor. All right. Next up, this line comes down below, and it's slightly like that. All right, let's take a look. What does it look like without the pencils? That looks right. I'm missing a piece right here, but that's fine. Put it right back in there. And one thing about the insect ships is they don't fly in a straight line. They fly like bugs, so they fly like all over the place. So I always draw the exhaust trails in a kind of a jagged or zigzag, like a fly would fly, like it would fly all over. All right. We want to make this space, so a couple of different ways to make space. Now, the way I used to do it is I had a watercolor style brush, and I would do all this texture, and it looks really good, but it looks really out of place compared to everything else in the comic. So the way I did this space area, as you could see, I just did black. So I think that's what I have to do here. I have to just black it out. So let's go ahead and make sure that we can do that. Oh, I just erased you. That's because I don't wear those silly gloves that people wear. No offense if you wear a glove. If you wear a glove, I do not. And then I have problems with undoing things that I do. Okay. All this is looking good. All right. Now, we want to make sure that we don't cover up our cool spaceship. So I've drawn this line around it. But because of the... See, like, there's little broken areas in there, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it is. I'm not 100% sure that was going to work, and I guess it did not work. I actually kind of like it when... Okay, well, we're getting better. Sometimes when I'm having trouble with this, I'll start sectioning it off and saying, okay, well, is it good from here to here? Right? Yes. How about here? Here to here? No. Okay, well, if that's bad, how about this? No. Okay, so let's do this. How about from here to here? No. So we know where some of our problems are. I do think that the dark black for space does look good. Like it's bold, you know? Don't worry about that it's covered it has indeed covered up those word balloons, but we'll get those back. Or double your money back. What are you saying? You paid nothing for this video? All right. How about you? Wait, stop. How about you? No, it did not work. All right, so what's missing here? I think it's right here. Okay. Nope, it's not just there. How about right there? Nope. How about, could be anywhere else. We know that one is in here. But where? Maybe there? Maybe there? Nope. Oh, we're so close. Close to getting somewhere. Okay, that worked. Now, how about this? I don't know if it'll work or not. Let's just go over it again. It means the problem is potentially down here. There we go. All right, two blank, right? Just black, just dark space. So what we can do, I don't know if I like this particular eraser for this. We could actually use my bleeding ink. It's a little bit of a noisy space for the stars. I had the idea of doing like these sort of swooshes. And we're going to have to do sound effect. In this case, we're doing it completely through eraser. There we go, looking good. All right, we're going to back the ink down so we can see our word balloons just to know where they are. Retitle this balloons or balloons, hun. And hang on a bit. This uses technical pen. I better be on the right layer. I am. I'm going to turn this pot around. Now, I might have said, instead of this, I might have said, turn this pot around at once. Maybe that's a better thing for her to say rather than I'm going to turn it around. Permission denied. Where is this? The stack is wrong because the word already is sticking out way past where I want it. How about that? I think that's a better stack right there. See what I mean by the stack? You got to have everything where, like, if something's sticking out, it's going to cause problems. And I can already see I'm going to tangent against that little space swirl I created and possibly even the sound effect. All right. The computer will speak in. Well, first of all, let's fix one of these balloons, or both, one or both of the balloons, and that's something I figured out how to do in Procreate all by myself, with just use the warp effect. You just want to make sure that you got enough space everywhere involved. There we go. I'm gonna have to make these viz a lot smaller. All right. Second thing is on the speech balloon. When the computer's talking, he gets a lightning bolt to show that he's electrical. Second thing that's missing, possibly, is we broke the panel border, which I do not like to do. So we're just going to erase that. That looks okay to me. How about you? That looks okay to me. All right, we're going to bring the opacity back. There we go. And this sound effect, what do we do with it? Well, that's going to be tough, because the sound effect was drawn, hold up. The sound effect was drawn in eraser directly onto the ink layer. So moving it's going to leave a big chunk missing. So we're going to have to fill in whatever we do. Maybe something like that. I could even put it down here. But I think it's okay right there. Oops. Same problem as before. It's kind of just zooming along. Doing some energy effects. I want to make sure that I'm using the ink, not ink bleed, but rusty nib one. Let's do some more stars. I don't think we have to go nuts on the stars, but we can put some tones on the underside of the spaceship. Like maybe there's a light source, like perhaps a planet nearby or something. We could even do a little quasar. Let's do another one up here. Oh, this thing is too close. Look how it's tangenting right here. So let's go ahead and rid of it. It's limited use anyways. And we could. All right. 30 minutes and we got one panel done. There will be more. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and we will continue working on this comic. I've got this is a from behind the back shot of Luminara trying to pilot and losing the argument with the computer. And then, of course, we have this whole jump shot, the warp shot that I'm thinking of going borderless on, but I may not because it's going to be another space shot. And if I go borderless on it, it will look weird because I'll have to basically do the whole page as black, which I don't want to do. All right. Talk to you later.